This is going to be a second video on Marxism. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the conflation of Marxism and socialism and the political implications of this. So I'm going to use Jordan Peterson and his critique of Marxism as an example of this misconception.
But we've seen what it can contribute. I don't know how many bloody times we have to run the experiment. Well, that wasn't real Marxism. I know what that means. I know what that sentence means. What that means is, if I was the dictator, with my profound understanding of Marx's real intent, and my universal benevolent compassion, uncontaminated by any proclivity towards darkness or sin, I would bring on the socialist utopia. That's what it means, fundamentally. And if someone says that and claims it, then you should get the hell away from them as fast as you possibly can.
You would be correct not to attribute the atrocities of the 20th century under Stalin or Mao to Marx and Marxism, because Marxism is descriptive, whereas socialism or communism, these are prescriptive. They have to do with how the economy is organized. They refer to a methodology, whereas Marxism is an analysis of capitalism. It's about capitalism. It does not endorse a specific mode of organizing the economy or organizing government.
Okay, so Marx was concerned about inequality, and there are reasons to be concerned about inequality. But the problem with Marxism is that it lays the cause of equality at the feet of the fundamental institutions of the West. Free market, democracy, capitalism, patriarchy.
This is not true. Marx was an admirer of capitalism. He admired its dynamism and the way it incorporated technological innovation as part of how it sustains itself. He came from the tradition of David Ricardo and Adam Smith and was pragmatic. He believed that you couldn't really change society without utilizing the elements that were already in place. So to say that he attributed that his critique was a wholesale repudiation of the West and the institutions of the West is simply not true. Marx does not blame inequality on the institutions of the West. Rather, he looks at history and traces the evolution of inequality and the different ways in which it is concealed by the social relations that exist. His main comparison is with feudalism, in which a serf works a few days on his own land and a few days on the lord's land. And then he'll use that as an example to compare with wage labor, for example, where at a certain point of the day at work, you generate enough wealth to pay for your own wage, and the rest of the day goes to profit. And this profit, you do not have any participation in what is done with it. So Marx is acknowledging inequality as a fact of life, a historical fact of life, a part of our species. He acknowledges that. He's not disputing that. He's not blaming it on the West. He also believed that capitalism was inherently unsustainable, that its contradictions would lead to collapse, failure, and that the working class would develop awareness of its role in society, impose socialism, and that would lead to communism, in which the social relations determined by money no longer exist and private property no longer exist. I'm not saying this to defend communism. I'm not a communist. I'm not a Marxist. But I do think that clarifying this misconception would lead to a number of political benefits, one of which being there would just be less needless antagonization between people who believe in the free market and those who are skeptical of it, or do not like it, or draw attention to all its pernicious effects. In my last video on Marxism, I referred to Richard Wolff and his endorsement of cooperative enterprises, and I made the argument that the endorsement of cooperative enterprises does not fit into the political mold of the left in its current state. No one's really saying that in the Democratic Party in the United States. And even Democratic Socialists, they're not saying that either. And yet it provides a means for which people who do not like capitalism, do not believe in the free market, believe that it's evil, it provides them a means in which they can participate in society in an institution that reflects their values. And it also allows people who do believe in the free market to make an appeal to the values of people who fundamentally disagree with them. So it's one way of offering more to your opponent than their own ideology offers them.